general membership meeting after the last general session of the day will be right across the hall. And there are a few spots on the rolling workshop that have opened up. If you are not signed up and would like to, please talk to me later. I am going to just briefly introduce our next speaker and let her do the rest. With us today is Lindsay Michael from New Leaf Marketing and Social Media. You have probably seen some of her things before because she is extremely closely related to one of our agritourism producers, Beaver Farms. And I'm going to let her tell you all about that, and I bet she has some examples. And if we don't have time for questions, I'm sure she's not running too far away, and she would love to talk to you afterwards, but we'll try to get to that question portion as well. Take it away, Lindsay.
And one more note on question, guys. On the back of this handout, there is actually a list. So if you have something, note it down really quick. And I know we're going to cover so many topics in such a short amount of time. I don't want to overwhelm you. So I am offering a free 30-minute discovery call to everyone here today. We'll go in the order of whoever emails me first to schedule the call, so we can kind of dive into some questions and more topics that we didn't cover today. So without further ado, let's get, question.
Yeah, what is your name?
My name is Lindsay, Lindsey, Michael, and that is Mikael. But right on the back of this is my email. So you don't have to worry about writing it down. It's all right there for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course. Before we get started, I just want to poll the audience because I want to see who's here. So really quickly, if you're in agritourism, raise your hand. Quite a few of you. Okay, if you're a farmer who's growing what you're selling, raise your hand. Quite a few here. Okay, what about if you're a maker making something that you're selling? Okay. So we've got a really good mix of audience. You can go ahead and move to the next one. So here's me. Just a little background. I have been in agritourism since my family opened our farm, our corn maze, 2001. So to say I'm a little familiar with that, I think so. And then once I graduated college, I actually started working for Whole Foods Market in marketing. So I spent 7 years there working with local makers and vendors. So I do have to say I feel like I'm in very good company today with all of y'all. Let's get started. Okay, social media checklist. So this is going to be that first sheet that you see in your handout. Yes, thank you. And quick one more. I know I sent this out to a few local business owners. One in particular was my sister. When I sent it to her, her first response was, well, this made me really angry. I'm feeling very overwhelmed. I don't have time for this. I'm going to have to hire someone. And I'm like, here I am. Hire me. But no, you guys, I wanted to provide this because this is kind of a guide and a list that a social media manager is using to kind of plan out their day, their weeks, their years, and their quarter. Don't try to do all of these things all at once because you're not probably a social media manager. You're wearing hundreds of different hats, running your own business. So maybe look through the list and maybe there's 1 or 2 things that you can try to start incorporating into your business. Because if you want to start growing your revenue through social media, we want to start kind of thinking like that social media manager, right? So here's just a little guide to get us started. Next, we're going to go through a social media audit. And that is also included as a template for you guys to have. What is a social media audit? It is simply an audit of regular examination of the social media channels that you currently have. So things like Facebook, Instagram, all of that. Why do we need to do a social media audit? Because we want to make sure all that information is clear and up to date. Because if we have any typos or anything like that, it's going to mislead our customers. So let's just run through these really quickly. So step 1, review all of your social media profiles. In your profile image on your social media channel, does it have your logo? Can you clearly see your logo? When it gets smaller, when you're posting, can you still see your logo? Things like that. Maybe you don't have a logo. Maybe you have a picture of your beautiful face as your profile. Are you having that direct eye contact? Do you look like you're happy and approachable? Really making sure that you're making the most out of your profile. Step 2 would actually be your profile. So we skip on through. No worries. So step 3, I think a lot of times we start to look at, if we're auditing our Facebook, what's the easiest way to do that is to get on the computer, right? But you really make sure if you're looking at the computer that you're also looking at your phone as well, because things look differently. They transform. For instance, when I was creating my Facebook page, I was so happy with my banner. It was beautiful, my cover image for Facebook, and then I looked at my phone and my head was chopped off. So really go through those and make sure that they're doing the most for you. Next, your contact information. Is it up to date? Do you have maybe multiple people that have access to your Facebook page? Maybe they had a typo in your phone number. Maybe you moved addresses and you forgot to change it. Things like that are huge, because if your customers can't get that right information, and a lot of the times your social media profile is the first place they're going to go to find it, they're going to have a really hard time finding you. And you want to make it as easy as you possibly can. Next, we want to make sure that you analyze the performance of each of your social media profiles. So that sounds a little bit intense, right? Analyzing, we're farmers, we grow food. How do we analyze something on social media? It's actually really easy. Both Facebook and Instagram have insights that you can follow. And if you dig in and really research and kind of see what's going, you might be surprised with the type of information that you're getting. It could be anything from when you're posting and what times. You can actually look at both Instagram and Facebook, and it will tell you when all of your followers are online by day. So you can go in there and say, hey, it's Thursday. At what time period to the day are most of my followers online? Maybe it's 9 a.m., maybe it's 6 p.m. But if you do that, that's huge, right? Because you want to be posting and showing when the majority of your followers are online, so your caption's going to have more engagement. That goes with step number 6 too, reviewing your publishing schedule. Your content analysis, we're going to dig into that a little bit later with a skit, so just stay tuned. And next, a SWOT analysis, so just kind of looking at your profile from your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This might be hard to do for you as a person because you're looking at that profile every single day. So I suggest you grab a friend or a buddy, someone who's close to you that's not afraid to tell you something that you might not want to hear, to kind of give you that feedback to make sure that your social profile is not only working to you, but also to others as well. And then add and delete social media channels. So who in the room has created a business? They got so excited, so they immediately went out and made a Twitter page, a Facebook page, an Instagram page, all of the things. And it's 2, 3, 4 years later, and you really only post on Facebook. Twitter, you went one tweet, and then you just kind of left it alone. Anybody? Lauren, raise your hand. We did that with Twitter. And so go through and take an audit of that. Did you accidentally do that? Take the time and delete it. Because you would hate for one of your followers to, like, they really like Twitter and they're getting on there and they see that you posted something from 4 years ago. And then that makes you look bad. So just take the account off if you're not utilizing it. And then always when we're doing an audit, reviewing your goals. That's going to be a big thing with anything that we do. Okay, effective bios. So we all know with any social media channel, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, there's going to be a bio. Instagram, it's right at the top. Facebook, it's going to be when you click about, you can read what it is. You want to make sure, guys, that that bio is working for you. So, what is it? It's going to be, if people can't understand what you do, then they're not going to be able to become customers, and you're not going to get them money. So how do we make it clear? We need to use unique adjectives. We need to say what a product or service is. We need to let them know what they're going to be getting or accomplishing by buying our product or service and the impact it's going to have on them. So this is a guide that I have given to you. And it is simply that, guys. It's a guide, so it's a way to kind of get the wheels turning and get it started. And I've got a few examples that we can run through using that guide. So maybe you sell cupcakes. My sugar-free cupcakes indulge your sweet tooth so you can celebrate without guilt. Who wants to do that? Celebrating without guilt, right? Our chemical-free bar soaps safely cleanse so you can worry less. That's huge right now in the industry with soaps and makeups and things that are chemical-free, toxic-free, huge. Maybe you grow tomatoes, right? So my homegrown tomatoes will awaken your taste buds so you can relive summer memories. How do those captions make you feel, right? Can you see that it's really engaging and trying to connect with your customers? Now, social media strategy. Again, I think that this is a term that can be a little bit daunting because you have a pervasive question.
Are we supposed to have a page that says social media strategy?
No, you do not. But we'll take some notes here today, and if you want a copy of this presentation, it will be uploaded so you can download it.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So with a social media strategy, that can be confusing, right? Think of it, instead of a strategy, take that word out of your mind and think of it as a map. You're simply creating a map that's going to take you on a journey to different places to ultimately get to your destination, which would be your goal, okay? And you're going to get as much out of this map, this strategy, as you put into it. So let's get started. With any strategy, right, we're going to need a goal. So here's an example of a goal. I want to have more followers, right? At social media, what do we want? More followers. However, what if we tried to rewrite that goal? What if we tried to make it a SMART goal? So instead of saying I want to have more followers, let's say I want to gain 50 new Instagram followers a month during our season. What makes it a SMART goal, you say? It's specific. We want to be growing our followers. It's measurable, 50 new followers a month. It's achievable, because it's during the height of your season. It's relevant, because you want to grow your social media, so you have a bigger following. And it's time-bound. You know by the end of your season, this is what you want to do. However, goals are good. SMART goals are great, but if you want to start achieving your goals, you need to have an action plan. So an example of an action plan for this scenario, I will commit to posting something on Instagram every day and spending 15 minutes a day engaging with current and potential followers. I will also make sure I bring a sign to all of our markets with our Instagram handle and encourage others to follow us. Now that SMART goal seems pretty easy, right? Because you know exactly your little map is going to show you how to get to that goal and how to really achieve it and be mindful about it. And I know several people have talked about target audience today and knowing who they are. So I've got several questions for you here about target audience. There's going to be one more, that's it. Nope. Okay, so target audience. Who are they? What are they doing? What do they like? What do they want? What do they need? What are their problems and what are your solutions? I can't stress this enough. If you want to be successful on social media, you really need to dive into this. You need to know who your target audience is, and you need to be able to answer these questions about your target audience. A lot of people, when it comes to social media, they ask for shortcuts or secret keys and things like this. If you know your target audience and you know exactly who you're trying to reach, it's going to be so easy to create content, to know what to invest money in boosting posts, or to know where to show up and what magazine ads you want to do, because you know where your audience is. Competition. I know when it comes to competition, it kind of seems a little bit scary. Not all of us really want to invest any time at all in trying to see what our competition is doing, because what does it do? We might be on social media, we're reading their pages, they're doing all this great stuff, they got 300 likes on this picture of this class that they did, and you start to feel bad about yourself, right? It's like, I don't know, I couldn't do that, and I post something and it doesn't work as well. However, you can also change your perspective and say, wow, they're doing something that worked really, really well. how can I take what they did really well, tweak it a little bit, and make it for my business? So you want to know them, you want to watch them, and you want to listen to them. And one of my favorite quotes from my first marketing internship at Sport Chassis, Chris Brinkley, he would always say, use their marketing dollars. Like, we don't have a marketing budget. So if we're building a big sports truck, we need to look at Dodge and Ford, and we need to see what they're doing because they're spending millions of dollars on market research and things like that. And in your industry, you might not have people spending millions of dollars, but there's definitely competition that's spending monthly hundreds and thousands of dollars on marketing. And so what can you learn from them to better yourself? So, content calendar. And if you guys use my email and email me after this conference and schedule your call, I will also send you a free content calendar that you can use as a weekly and monthly template. A content calendar is so important in planning out your content calendar too, because now that you have a strategy, you can easily execute a plan. So if you spend all that time diving into what are your goals, who's your target audience, what is your competition doing, then you can set down, focus in with that content calendar, and you'll be surprised how much content you can plan in an hour, in 2 hours, because all of a sudden it's not as hard as it used to be. Test, evaluate, and adjust. If you're taking notes, please write that down. If you're not taking notes, please write that down. Test, evaluate, and adjust is something you need to have in the back of your mind, whether you're doing social media or anything in your business. Because we can have 2 corn mazes in the house. We've got Chester's up here. We've got P-Bar Farms in the back. Something that works for P-Bar Farms, really successful, might not be successful for Chester's. Not to say that it's not a good plan or they didn't execute it. It's just because they're 2 different atmospheres. They have a different target audience. So test, evaluate, and adjust. Now, content that converts. I'm going to invite a special guest up to the stage to kind of help us get going on this. So this is JC. Everybody say hello.
Hello.
Hi, JC.
Welcome her. I'm going to do this with you. You know your script?
Yes, I do. Hi, I'm JC. I grow pumpkins, big, small, tall. Buy my pumpkins! Buy my pumpkins! Buy my pumpkins!
Okay. Thank you, JC. How was that experience? Any thoughts that come to mind? Maybe a little aggressive. Someone might be afraid of JC. She's sweet and we like her, but I don't know if I really want to buy her pumpkins. However, let's change that scenario. Let's say JC came into this presentation early, which she did. She walked around the room. She